Greetings, optimistic, forward-looking, traveling Sagittarius. My name is Eliane Nicole. I'm an astrologer and tarot card reader, and now I'm going to do the October 2020 forecast for the sign of Sagittarius. And I'm going to start with a tarot layout, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the planetary transits for October. I encourage you to follow me on astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole. There I am going to do more updated posts about the planets as it's unfolding, because it's a lot to put in these videos. But I am going to touch on some of them, so stick around for that second half. And you can watch the videos for your sun, moon, and rising. If you don't know your sun, moon, and rising, you should definitely contact me for a reading. As we enter the month of October, Sagittarius, the Eight of Cups, it looks like you are very abundant. You have a lot of full cups in your life, but there is something missing, and you might be on the search for it. You might be going to look for it. You might be reflecting on what that is. And you are covered by the star. This is beautiful. This is about faith in the divine order. It's a higher consciousness and enlightenment and serenity, and it's rooted in self-care and faith, really, you know. And you're crossed by justice. And so this is your cocoon for the month of October. And this is the Kabbalists call your cocoon. It's your karmic correction, what you're supposed to be working on. And this is literally justice, fairness, equality for all. There could be a situation in your personal life, a legal situation that you were working on, but in general, it could just be the justice, the overall process that hopefully you're participating in. And the basis, the King of Swords. So this is a man, possibly an air sign, like a Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini, but it could just be a man who wants to have a discussion, who's heading towards you to discuss something. What's leaving is the Ten of Pentacles reversed. This is a time of boundaries around family, security, residence, wealth. What could come into being? This is the Sun. This is enlightenment, joy, fun, maybe even a vacation, happiness. This is around mid-month. What will come into being? This is the Two of Cups reversed, also mid-month. This is not seeing eye to eye with a lover or partner, possibly. It can be a romantic falling out. Fears or insecurities, the Five of Cups reversed. This has to do with getting over disappointments, emotional disappointments from the past. Others see you as the Eight of Wands. This is very active and possibly even literally traveling, like going on a trip or a journey, but it could be more figurative, just that there's a lot going on. You're very busy, lots of activities, lots on your to-do list. Positive feelings, the Four of Pentacles reversed. So this is, it looks like towards the end of the month you have positive feelings about taking a risk or a gamble of some kind. And then the outcome, the Eight of Swords reversed. It looks like you are free and liberated at the end of October, Sagittarius. And so, yeah, the end of October is also October 31st. We have a blue moon, which is so exciting, you know, once in a blue moon. And this blue moon is conjunct Uranus, the planet of surprises. So we know that the end of the month brings a big October surprise. But I'm going to go back to the beginning and work our way back to that. October 1st is the full moon in Aries, and Aries is trine Sagittarius, so it's a very harmonious energy, but this full moon is just so powerful because we already have so many planets in Aries. Mars retrograde is there, and he's kind of edgy and ready for a fight. Eris, the goddess of discord, is there. She's ready to kick some ass. the black moon Lilith is there, so she's ready to unleash all her repressed rage and anger. And then Chiron, the wounded healer, is there, so he's hurt, he needs to heal. And then here comes this fiery full Aries moon, and it's just super energetic, and it's just lighting things up. And so there's going to be illumination and heat with this full moon. And for Sagittarius, this is in your 5th house. This is the house of creativity, creative projects. It's also the house of children. So if you have children, there should be a lot of energy and activity around that area around the full moon. But if you're a creative person, this is just, intensely powerful creative energy for the artist Sagittariuses that are out there. And and that moon is going to square off with the 2nd house stuff. So, there could be some financial challenges related to children and or creative projects that are illuminated during this full moon on the 1st as well. October 2nd, Venus moves into Virgo. Venus in Virgo is where Virgo is in its fall. For Sagittarius, this will be entering your house of career and attainment. And it could just mean, there could be an authority of some kind in your life, a boss, a client, someone who may be being overly critical of your work, potentially. You could be the person who's being overly critical of another person within your field of your career and your profession. So watch out for that Virgo and Venus, standards of perfection in professional relationships, because it's in your 10th house. And it could also be for people who aren't in the working. Sometimes this manifests as the father relationship, and it can also just be, your vocation, like your calling, like what you're known for in any capacity outside of your privacy of your home, So, what else? Pluto goes direct October 4th. I'm just touching on some of the aspects. There are so many powerful, great, interesting aspects happening all through October. But Pluto direct is a big one because Pluto's been retrograde for a really long time. It's the last of all of the planets that have been retrograde in Capricorn since May together to move forward. So, everyone was feeling the very stopped up energy by all of those Capricorn planets being retrograde. And since May, those planets have been calling for us to, rethink and re-strategize and recalibrate and reimagine. And it's been very internal. And now one by one, they've started to go forward, loosening up the energy in that area of our chart. For Sagittarius, that area is the 2nd house of finances and resources. So this area is finally going to start moving forward for you. Pallas Athene went direct September 5th, so you probably made your first chess move of all the thinking and the strategizing and the, going back to the drawing board that you had been doing. And then Jupiter went direct September 12th, bringing grace to your, motion. And then Saturn at the end of September, and then Pluto finally October 4th. And so now, slowly but surely, the stuff that's been stopped up in your house of money and resources is going to start to loosen up and move forward. There are still tests. Saturn is still going to inspect before he gets to Aquarius to make sure you've learned the lessons that he came to teach in his, since he's been in your house of finances and resources since the end of 2017. And so, depending on whether you've, done the work that Saturn wants, the discipline, the boundaries, the reality check, Saturn will reward, and Jupiter will certainly reward. But if you haven't, Saturn will also reward in the, knock you in the knee kind of way. So, oh my God, I don't mean to laugh at that, but karma. So yeah, that is a little bit about Pluto. Mercury goes retrograde October 13th. Mercury is going to be retrograde for the 3 weeks leading up to the election, stationing direct, election day. This is just amazing for this to be happening in 2020. You cannot write this shit, you know. I'm going to talk more about what happens in November in my next set of videos. I want to keep it in October, but for the collective, this means, you know, miscounts, things getting lost, things, errors, and disruptions in scheduling, travel, mail, messages, correspondence, talking, learning, all of the things that Mercury deals with are going to start to be going a little haywire come mid-month. And the Mercury retrograde starts out in Scorpio. And with Scorpio Mercury retrograde, there's secrets. It can be very cloak and dagger. And then it backs on up into Libra, which is justice, which really literally translates to reversals in justice and communication and things like that. So leading up to the election, for the collective, certainly I see a lot of funny business happening behind the scenes. And then also in our personal lives, you know, we just have to be astute about getting our votes in and things like that, because we're not, you know, there's just going to be plenty of room for mistakes to be made, for errors to be made, for things to get lost. And so if you're voting this season, be extra mindful and careful. Even if you have a mail-in vote, go and physically put it in the place, because this Mercury retrograde season is going to cause a lot of issues with this election, guaranteed. October 16th is the new moon in Libra. The new moons are always rich and fertile cosmic soil to plant the seeds of intention that you want to manifest in your life. And the Libra new moon in particular has to do with love, romance, marriage. It also has to do with social justice, justice at all. And it has to do with art and beauty. And so this is a very beautiful new moon. This one in particular, because of the cardinal cross happening in the sky between Libra opposing Mercury retrograde, this new moon is going to oppose, it's going to oppose Mars retrograde, that fighter warrior planet who wants to fight. So, you know, and then it's going to also be squaring off with all of those Capricorn planets, Pluto and Jupiter and Saturn. So, you know, here's one of the tests that I'm talking about that, you know, Saturn is bringing to see, hey, have you learned the lessons? Have you done this? Have you done your Saturn, you know? And if you don't know where your Saturn is in your chart, definitely contact me for a reading, because that's what, you know, you want to be making sure you give to Saturn, you know? And yeah, so that new moon is square Pluto, square Saturn, opposing Mars. October 18th series goes direct. That's in your third house of communication. And so I think that you are going to be finding ways to be more nurturing in your communication with others, possibly in your writing or in your speaking style. And maybe finding more of a cool detachedness. I don't know. It's interesting. Interesting aspect for you. October 22nd, the sun moves into Scorpio and Vesta moves into Virgo. And when the sun moves into Scorpio, that is moving into your 10th house. I'm sorry. When the sun moves into Scorpio, that is moving into your 12th house. And so for the month leading up to your birthday, the sun will be traveling through your 12th house, and that will be highlighting, you know, you're going to be reflective, you know, about the year that's passed and what's to come. And some old things may be coming up to be dealt with, some thoughts. It's a great time for meditation. It's a great time for solitude and self-reflection and getting really in touch with your spiritual self. It's a good time to reflect on what you are, what is your devotion, what makes you whole and complete as a you know, soul in this lifetime, in this human incarnation. And yeah, so I'm not going to go too deep into that, but it's definitely a spiritual and reflective time of the year for Sagittarius. And I know that Sagittarius likes to be a lot more lighthearted and external, but you know, this is 2020 and we're leading up to your birthday in 2020. And so it is a time to reflect, you know. October 27th, Venus moves into Libra, where Venus is exalted. Mercury retrograde backs into Libra. So once Mercury retrograde backs into Libra on October 27th, I mean, the translation is almost literally a reversal of justice leading right up to the election. So, Venus moving into Libra should bring some grace. It's a struggle. I think that there can be miscommunications in relationships. There can be debates. There can be arguments. You know, Venus, the planet of love, even though she's exalted in Libra, Libra's squaring off with Aries and Capricorn, all the stuff going on in the sky. And so it's a tough year for the Libra season, you know. The Libra season is not as social as it normally is. It's not as romantic as it normally is because of the other factors that are happening. And so there will be elements of that Libra sweetness and that Libra romance, but it's the fight for love. It's the fight for justice. You know, it's the fight for our values in this time is what it is. It's where we are in history. And October 31st, finally, that's the blue moon. Once in a blue moon, you know, the blue moon conjunct Uranus. And for you, it's in the house of health, Sagittarius. So it looks like there could be some surprise news around your health. It could also be around employees or staff where that's applicable. And it could also be around your daily routine. But expect the unexpected October 31st with the blue moon. And that is it for the overview for Sagittarius for October 20th. If you like this video, please give me a like. If you didn't like it, give me a don't like, but I hope you liked it. Please follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole, where I will be doing more regular updates. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Please share this video with other Sagittariuses. Please post something in the comments, feedback. I would love it. It helps my viewership, my profile. Thank you very much, Sagittarius. Have a wonderful October. See you soon.